So hi everyone, welcome to the series of lectures on signals and systems. So in the last class we started the LTI systems. So LTI stands for linear and time invariant system. So these are the various concepts we are going to cover under this LTI systems. So we already know how to derive the transfer function of the LTI system, that is completed in the last class. So for that, I just go for the quick review how to derive the transfer function of an LTI system. So this is the representation of the LTI system. So this is your LTI system. So for the LTI system, this is the input. X of t is a continuous time input. Here this is a continuous time LTI system, because we are giving the continuous time input signal and we will get the continuous time output signal y of t. So we are defining this system in the continuous time domain. Therefore the system we consider here, the LTI system we consider here, is the continuous time LTI system. Suppose if I consider the signals in terms of the discrete time domain, so x of n and y of n, so this system is a discrete time LTI system. So based on the representation, so we consider the type of the system, which is a continuous time or a discrete time. So here we are going to consider the LTI system. So this is your LTI system, and so let us give one example of this LTI system. I already told you the importance of the LTI system in the last class. So if you want to realize any system in practice, the system must be a LTI system. Otherwise it is not possible to realize the any system. So why? Because so LTI stands for it is a linear system. So it obeys the principle of the superposition, that is a linear system, and it obeys the principle of the time invariance. So if it obeys the properties of the linearity and the properties of the time invariance, that system we called as the LTI system. Now how can you check whether the system obeys the linearity? So to check, you just apply the input x of t equal to 0. For x of t equal to 0, if you get y of t equal to 0, so that is the main property of the linear system. Suppose if I give the example, you can easily realize this concept, the LTI system, linear time invariant system. So if the system is described by this equation, so y of t equal to 2 times x of t. So this is the equation described by your LTI system, the input and output relation given by this LTI system. Now you observe here, so what is the main property of the LTI system? The system is linear. Compulsorily it is a linear system. So what is the main property of the linear system? The output follows the input. So whenever the input is 0, so your output must be equal to 0. So that is your LTI system. That is the main property of the LTI system. Now if you observe this equation, so if we substitute x of t equal to 0, so can we get y of t equal to 0 or not? So y of t is equal to 0. So that means what? So whenever, so if I take another example, you can easily realize. Suppose if the system is described by this equation, so I will give the conclusion after this. 2 into x of t plus 5. So this is the equation described by the LTI system, described by the system. Now if I substitute x of t equal to 0, so we'll get y of t is what? So y of t is 5. That means what? So before applying your input, so your system produces the output. So that is y of t equal to 5. In this case you just observe, in this case, the first case, so if x of t equal to 0, your y of t is equal to 0. In the second case, if x of t equal to 0, your y of t is equal to 5. That means what? Even before applying the input, your system produces the output. In the second case, even before applying the input, your system produces the output. That means what? So is it possible to realize such type of systems? Never. We cannot realize such type of systems. Even though if the input is applied, so if the system produces the output, how can we realize that system? So it is not possible to realize that such type of the systems. So this system is called the non-linear system. So this is a non-linear system. So in practice it is not possible to realize the non-linear systems. The non-linear systems are nothing but it produces the output even before the application of the input. That is called the non-linear system. So for non-linear systems we cannot realize in practice. So only we realize the linear systems. So that too specifically, if the system is LTI system, then only we can realize the linear time invariant systems only. So this is the best example of how we are going to prove this LTI system concept, why the LTI systems are physically realizable. For the second case, if you take the second case, it is not possible to find out the transfer function for the second case. Definitely it is not possible because this equation is involved with constants. So whenever the equation is involved with constants, the system becomes a non-linear system, Now what is the transfer function? The transfer function is h of omega. This is the representation of the transfer function. How can you define this transfer function? To define the transfer function, it is so y of j omega divided by x of j omega. So y of j omega is what? The Fourier transform of the output signal. If you apply the Fourier transform on the output signal, so we will get what? So y of j omega. So if you apply the Fourier transform on your input, so that is x of t. So we will get what? So x of j omega. Now what is the transfer function? The transfer function is nothing but the Fourier transform of the output signal divided by the Fourier transform of your input signal. Under what condition? Under initial conditions are 0. That is very important point. So while defining the transfer function of the LTI system, so you should consider the linear conditions are must be 0. So if the linear conditions are not equal to 0, the system becomes non-linear. So for the linear systems only, the initial conditions are 0. So whenever your input is 0, your output is also 0. Those are nothing but the initial conditions. So if the system is non-linear, so in that case we do not find out the transfer function. It is not possible to calculate the transfer function for such type of the non-linear systems. So while defining the transfer function, you should make a note that the transfer function is the Fourier transform of output divided by the Fourier transform of input under the initial conditions are 0. So under initial conditions are 0. So whenever the initial conditions are 0, so that system is a linear system. If the initial conditions are not 0, means that system is a non-linear system. For linear systems only we define the transfer function. Now this is the definition of the transfer function. The transfer function and the impulse response are the two exclusively words which are defined for the LTI systems. So these two terms are only with respect to the LTI systems. For other systems we cannot define these two terms, transfer function and the impulse response. So transfer function is very important in the designing of the system. So without the transfer function it is not possible to design any system in fact. So the impulse response is also very important. So this impulse response decides the nature of the LTI system. In that aspect, the impulse response is also very important term. Now if you take this LTI system, so y of t equal to 2 times x of t. So this is the example of the LTI system. Now for this LTI system, how can you find out the transfer function? To find out the transfer function, you just apply the Fourier transform on both sides of the equation given by your LTI system. So it is 2 times the Fourier transform of the x of t. So for any type of equation given, so which is given by the LTI system, so you just apply the Fourier transform on both sides, so that you will get the transfer function. Fourier transform of y of t is y of j omega, so which is equal to 2 times Fourier transform of x of t is what? X of j omega. Now your transfer function, so which is represented by h of omega, is equal to what? So y of j omega divided by so x of j omega, that is equal to 2. This is your transfer function. This is your transfer function. So the transfer function is only defined for the LTI systems, only defined for the LTI systems. For other systems, it is not possible to find out the transfer function, like in this case. So y of t equal to 2 times x of t plus 5. So this is a non-linear system. So for this system, it is not possible to find out the transfer function. The system must be a linear system to find out the transfer function of that system. Now when comes to the impulse response, this is all about the transfer function. Just already know the concept of the transfer function. Next, so in the control systems, we are using the Laplace transforms for finding the transfer function. You can use the Laplace transforms also. So if you use the Laplace transforms, you will get the transfer function in the S domain. So which is h of s is equal to, so y of s into x of s. This is your transfer function. So if you use the Laplace transforms, so Laplace transforms are not completed still now. So up to now only Fourier transform is completed. Therefore I use the Fourier transform to define the transfer function. So if Laplace transforms is completed, you can use the Laplace transforms also. So why we go for the Laplace transforms? Because there is a limitation on the Fourier transform. So what is the limitation on the Fourier transform? So the limitation is it is only applicable for the stable systems. If the system is unstable, so the Fourier transform is not applicable for those systems. Therefore we go for the Laplace transforms. In that aspect we go for the Laplace transform. So using the Laplace transform, we analyze any type of the systems. So up to now the Fourier transform is completed. Therefore I define the transfer function in terms of the Fourier transform, not in terms of the Laplace transforms. If the Laplace transforms is completed, we can define the transfer function in terms of the Laplace transforms also. So that is the clarification about the transfer function. Next, so the impulse response. The impulse response is nothing but it is obtained from the transfer function only. So what is impulse response? I already told you what is impulse response. So if your input is x of t is equal to delta of t, if you give input as an impulse input, the output produced by the system, that is your LTI system, is nothing but what? The impulse response, which is denoted by h of t, For the impulse input, the response is called the impulse response. Simple. What is impulse response? The response of the LTI system for the impulse input. The delta of t is what? So delta of t is impulse signal. So the delta of t is called impulse signal. So here y of t is called what? Response. So the response of the LTI system for the impulse input, is nothing but your impulse response. Very, very important. Here impulse response is denoted by what? So h of t is the impulse response. Impulse response is denoted by h of t. So once you know the transfer function h of omega, so if you apply the inverse Fourier transform, so can we get the transfer function h of t? The impulse response h of t? So if we apply the inverse Fourier transform, how can we get the impulse response? Very simple. So if you know the transfer function h of j omega, listen carefully. So h of j omega is the system transfer function. So if you apply the inverse Fourier transform for your system transfer function, so you should get what? So you should get the time domain signal, which is the impulse signal, h of t, the impulse response, which is your h of t. That is the procedure to find out the impulse response. Here in h of j omega, in the example, h of j omega is what? So 2. So if we apply the impulse response on both sides of this equation, so the impulse response of h of j omega is equal to what? The inverse Fourier transform of 2. Now what is the inverse Fourier transform of 2? What is the inverse Fourier transform of h of omega? So h of t is the impulse response. So if you want to find out the impulse response for the LTI system, so one equation is given to you in the examination. LTI system is given to you, so which is described with respect to the equation. Now in the examination they are asking find out the transfer function, find out the impulse response. So like that they are asking. So if you want to find out the transfer function, you just apply the Fourier transform on both sides of the equation, so that you will get the what? Y of j omega by x of j omega. So if we get the transfer function, you just apply the inverse Fourier transform for this transfer function to get the impulse response of the signal. So which is your h of t. So your inverse Fourier transform of 2 is what? So what is the Fourier transform of your impulse signal? So it is what? It is 1. Now the Fourier transform of your delta of t is equal to 1. If we apply inverse Fourier transform on both sides, so what is the inverse Fourier transform of 1? So it is equal to delta of t. Already you know this property. So which is the first property of the Fourier transform? So Fourier transform of delta of t is what? 1. Therefore the inverse Fourier transform of 1 is what? Delta of t. Here the inverse Fourier transform of 2 is what? 2 times delta of t. So this is your the impulse response of the system. This is your impulse response of the system. How to find out the impulse response of the system is nothing but, to find out the impulse response, you just find out the transfer function for the given system. So from the transfer function, you just find out the inverse Fourier transform. Very simple. H of j omega is given to you. So if you want to find out h of t, so this is h of t. So if you apply the Fourier transform for h of t, you should get what? H of j omega. So how can we get h of t again? So if you apply the inverse Fourier transform, so that you will get what? So h of t. Here your h of t is what? The impulse response of the system. The impulse response of the system. So to find out the impulse response, you just apply the inverse Fourier transform after finding the transfer function of the system. After finding the transfer function of the system. This is about the impulse response of the LTI system. So you can do same procedure for any type of the problems. So suppose if I give the LTI system described by this equation, so which is y of t equal to, so y of t equal to x of t minus 1 plus x of t plus 1. So this is the LTI system given to you. Now you practice, find out the transfer function of this LTI system. And find out the impulse response. To know more about the LTI system, you should know the impulse response of the system. So impulse response is the main important parameter for any type of the system, LTI system. So to find out the impulse response, one should know the transfer function, the concept of the transfer function. So this is the LTI system given to you. So for this system, you just practice, find out the transfer function and find out the impulse response for this system. This is compulsory an LTI system. So you can get the transfer function, you can get the impulse response. If you want, you can check out the is this system is LTI system or not. So this is a linear system, this is a time invariant system. You can use the properties of linearity and properties of the time invariance. You can check out this system, nature of the system. You can get this nature of the system is an LTI system. So for LTI system, so we define the transfer function, we define the impulse response. So this is all about the transfer function and the impulse response of an LTI system. Next, the third one is the response of the system. So what is the response of the system? The response of the system is always what? Y of t is the response of the system. So to find out the response of the LTI system, this is also very important. How to find the response of the LTI system? So to find out the response of the LTI system, so you already know the transfer function of the system. So which is your h of j omega. So what is h of j omega? So h of j omega is what? So y of j omega divided by x of j omega. So this is your transfer function. I want to find out the response of the system. So that is your y of t. that is your y of t. Three types of problems are involved. One is finding the transfer function, another one is finding the impulse response. The first problem is finding the transfer function for the given system. The second problem is finding the impulse response, so which is h of t. The third problem is finding the output of the system. Finding the output of the system. So this is very, very important. Finding the output of the LTI system. So this is very, very important. So let us observe how to find the output of the system. Output of the system. So already you know the transfer function for the system, because your system is described by the equation. Your system is described by the input output relation. So that is the relation between the x of t and y of t is already given to you. So that is your system. That is your system. So whenever the system is described by certain equation, so using that equation we just find out the transfer function. So this is your transfer function. So from this transfer function, how to find out the y of t? Our aim is finding the response of the system. Finding the response of the system. Here what is y of j omega from the above equation? So y of j omega is nothing but what? So x of j omega multiplied by what? H of j omega. So this is your the output of the y of j omega, output in the frequency domain. But I want the output in the time domain. I want the output in the time domain. So for that you are going to apply the inverse Fourier transform on both sides of the above equation. So what is the inverse Fourier transform of y of j omega? So inverse Fourier transform of y of j omega. I want the response. So response is y of t here. So the inverse Fourier transform of your x of j omega, so multiplied by so h of j omega. So that is to know the response y of t in the time domain. This is the frequency domain equation. So your transfer function is in the frequency domain. I want the response in the final response is in time domain. For that you just apply the inverse Fourier transform on both sides of this equation, so that you will get the what is inverse Fourier transform of y of j omega. So this is nothing but your y of t. So already you know the Fourier transform of the time domain signal is what? So it is converted the time domain signal into the frequency domain. So that is your y of j omega. If you apply the inverse Fourier transform on both sides, so you will get what? Inverse Fourier transform of y of j omega, which is equal to what? So y of t. Now if you observe this right hand side equation, inverse Fourier transform of so x of j omega into multiplied by so h of j omega. So that is your right hand side. So to find out y of t, I need to calculate the right hand side equation. Now if you observe the properties of the Fourier transform, so in that I already told you the convolution property of the Fourier transform, very, very important property. So which is the convolution property of the Fourier transform? So you just recollect the convolution property of the Fourier transform. So I just write the property here. So from the convolution we are going to find out the output y of t. Let us see how we are going to find out the output y of t. So here we have the two signals x1 of t. For x1 of t, so your Fourier transform is x1 of j omega. So if x2 of t is another time domain signal, so for this the Fourier transform is x2 of j omega, then the convolution property of the Fourier transform states that so if we convolute two input signals, so x1 of t and x2 of t, so this is nothing but the convolution operator. I already told you in the case of convolution property of the Fourier transforms, so this is your convolution operator. Convolution operator. How can you perform the convolution? So to perform the convolution is nothing but an integral operation. So x1 of t into x2 of t, how can you perform? So integral minus infinity to plus infinity. So x1 of tau into so x2 of t minus tau d tau. So using this integral operation, we find out the convolution of x1 of t and x2 of t. Now the convolution property states that if you apply the Fourier transform of the convolution of the two signals, so what is the result we will get? So we will get the result like this: the multiplication of the two signals in the frequency domain. That is the property of the convolution in the case of the Fourier transform. So you just recollect the convolution property to find out your output y of t. So this is very important problem. Finding the output y of t is very important problem. For that you just recollect the convolution property of the Fourier transform. So the property states that, so if x1 of t is a time domain signal, its Fourier transform is x1 of j omega, and x2 of t is another time domain signal, so its Fourier transform is x2 of j omega. Then what is the Fourier transform of the convolution of the two signals in the time domain? So that is equal to the multiplication of the two signals in the frequency domain. That is equal to the multiplication of the two signals in the frequency domain. So from the above statement, what is the Fourier transform of the convolution of the two signals? We want to find out the Fourier transform of the convolution of the two signals. So the formula is, so it is the multiplication of two signals in the frequency domain. So this is the property of the convolution of the Fourier transforms. Now I want the inverse Fourier transform of x1 of x of j omega and h of j omega. So for that you need to apply the inverse Fourier transform on both sides of the equation. Now what is the inverse Fourier transform of your signals x1 of j omega and x2 of j omega? Let us clearly observe. So what is the inverse Fourier transform x1 of j omega and x2 of j omega? So it is nothing but what? So x1 of t, the convolution x2 of t. So what is x1 of t convolution x2 of t? Already written here the formula of how to find out the convolution of the two signals. This is the formula used to find out the convolution of the two signals. Here your output y of t is nothing but what? The inverse Fourier transform of x of j omega and h of j omega. Now we observe the convolution property. Inverse Fourier transform of two frequency domain signals, which is x1 of j omega and x2 of j omega, is what? The convolution of the two signals in the time domain. Now what is the result here? What is my output y of t using the convolution property? So here my output y of t is nothing but x of t. Here the two signals are h of t. This is very important. So very important formula to find out the y of t. So this is your input signal. In the problem, input signal is given to you, and this is the impulse response. This is your impulse response. So in the problem, the input signal is given to you and the impulse response is also given to you. So they are asking find out the output y of t. They are asking find out the output y of t. Now how can you find out the output y of t? You just convolute the two signals, which is your input signal and the impulse response, so that you will get what? The output signal y of t. The output signal y of t. How can you do this? So using this integration. So instead of x1 of t and x2 of t, here the signals are x of t and h of t. How can you write the integral here? So integral minus infinity to plus infinity here. Integral minus infinity to plus infinity. So you just replace your x of t by x of tau, and the second signal is replaced h of t by h of t minus tau with respect to dt. You need to do the integration. So you just observe this convolution. So the convolution of two signals x1 of t and x2 of t. So this is your convolution operator. Convolution is nothing but the integral operation. It is nothing but the integral operation to produce the another signal. So if you convolute two signals, which is your x of t and h of t, so it will produce a new signal. So y of t. Therefore convolution is an integral operation to find out the output of an LTI system. To find out the output of an LTI system for the given input and the impulse response. For the given input and the impulse response. This is the definition of the convolution. This is the definition of the convolution. So once again I will repeat the convolution. Convolution is nothing but an integral operation. here we perform the integral operation. So integral operation to find out the response of the system. Your response of the system is nothing but y of t. So this is your system. This is your LTI system. Your LTI system input is what? X of t. So your LTI system is described by what? The impulse response h of t. So for the given input x of t and the impulse response, so you need to find out what? The output y of t. You need to find out the output y of t. This is the problem. This is the problem. For the given input x of t and the impulse response, you just find out the output response. So using the convolution, using the process of the convolution. So what is the formula for f of y of t? So y of t is nothing but x of t convolution h of t. Here x of t is given to you, h of t is also given to you. So you just perform the convolution of the two signals using this formula. Using this formula, you just remember this formula. So how can you perform the convolution? Later we will discuss. But up to now you have to remember this formula. So convolution is nothing but an integral operation to find out the response of the system for the given input and the impulse response. For the given input and the impulse response. That is the convolution. That is nothing but the convolution. So how can we perform this integration? We'll see later. Later in the next class we'll see how can you perform the convolution. But as of now you should remember this formula. So here x of t is given to you, h of t is also given to you. So you just perform this integral operation, integral minus infinity plus infinity. So x of t here, but here we are using x of tau. That means what? You are replacing your t by another variable. So which is your x of tau. So that we will get what? X of tau. So when you replace t by a dummy variable tau, so you should get what? X of tau. That means your x of t is nothing but x of tau. I just replace a variable t by tau. Now how can we get h of t minus tau? How can we get h of t minus tau? So you just perform the shifting operation for h of t. So h of t, you just replace t by a dummy variable tau. So later you perform the time shifting operation on h of tau. So that you will get what? H of t minus tau. You just multiply x of tau and h of t minus tau and perform the integral operation with respect to d tau. So that we will get what? The output signal y of t. So that we will get the output signal y of t. So this is all about the response of the LTI system. How to find the response of the LTI system. So with respect to LTI system, here we have three major problems. Here we have three major problems. So LTI system is given in the exam. So which is described by certain equation. So for the LTI system, first the problem is we have to find out the transfer function h of j omega. So later we have to find out the impulse response. Impulse response is nothing but the response of the system, that is your y of t. So this is the response of the system. So y of t. So for what? For the impulse input. So whenever your x of t is what? The impulse signal. Whenever the input signal is impulse signal, in that case if you find out the response, that response is what? The impulse response, which is denoted by h of t. How can we get h of t? You just perform the inverse Fourier transform of this your transfer function, so that we will get the impulse response. The third problem is very important, finding the response of an LTI system. Finding the response of an LTI system for the given input and h of t. Here x of t is given and h of t is also given to you. X of t is given to you and h of t is also given to you. They are asking just find out the response y of t. They are asking find out the response y of t. So to find out the response y of t, I already show you how to find out the response y of t. It is nothing but the convolution of your x of t and h of t. That is your output y of t using the convolution operation. So using the convolution operation, so we are going to find out the y of t with the given input and the impulse response. With the given input and the impulse response. So using this integral operation. So you just remember the definition of the impulse, the convolution. I just write down the definition of the convolution. So it is given for 2 marks. Define the convolution of the two signals. Define the convolution of the two signals. In that case, the convolution is nothing but the integral operation. Convolution is nothing but the integral operation. So integral operation. You observe the formula. It is nothing but the integral operation. So this integral operation is what? So for finding the response of the system. For finding the response of the system. So to find out the response of the system, here the input x of t is given, comma, your impulse response h of t are given. So both these are given to you. So these are given. So these are given to you. So both the input signal and h of t are given to you. So we have to find out the response y of t. How can you find out the response y of t? Using the integral operation. Using the integral operation. How can you perform the integral operation? This is your integral operation. You need to remember this equation. Very, very important. The convolution operation. So we will see the some of the examples of the convolution. How to perform the convolution operation. Convolution, if you want to perform the convolution operation, here we have two types. One is analytical method. So one is analytical method. So analytical method is there. So next one is we have. So the next method we have is the graphical method. So graphical method of convolution. Same integral operation we are going to perform. So using two methods. So one method is the analytical method, another method is a graphical method. Graphical method, analytical method and graphical method. These are the two methods to perform this convolution operation. So using two methods, you can use any one of the method. So if they are asking particularly the analytical method, you can go for the analytical method of procedure of the convolution. So if they are asking the graphical method of convolution, you can go for the graphical method only. So you can do any one of the methods to find out the output of the signal y of t. So using the two methods, you can easily find out the output signal y of t. So we will see how to perform the convolution operation to find out the y of t. So using the analytical method or using the graphical method in the next class. So I will stop today's class.